music, R&B, hip hop, pop,
I still get you.
reggae, EDM, indie, old school,
Side. Check it.
and sports talk.
Right here.
WorldStarHitRadio.com.
Welcome to Connecting Atlanta Radio, hosted on the one and only WorldStarHitRadio.com. As you can see in the audience today, that we have someone on the phone that's called in because she is in another state. So welcome to the show, AIsha.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. So tell us a little bit about what you do, your company, and what do you have going on?
Well, I am the founder of STEMs for STEM, and STEM is short for Science, Technology, Engineering, and Math. I started this organization, this nonprofit organization, to encourage girls to pursue STEM careers, STEM degrees, because I know that I was lacking in mentorship when I started on my STEM career. I am a biologist myself, and that's why this organization is very near and dear to my heart. And I really want girls to know about all the opportunities that are out there, especially if they start following STEM programs and opportunities at an early age.
Awesome.
And that's basically, how I got started with that.
It does seem to be like more of a male-dominated. I mean, there are some women out there like yourself as well, and that are pursuing that type of careers, but it definitely does seem to be a little bit more male-dominated. So I think that's great that you're doing that. And so how long has your organization been around for?
Well, it just started last year, and this was birthed out of my mentoring through another organization who I still volunteer with, but it just made sense for me to branch out and start this organization because, as I said earlier, I'm a biologist, and I know the struggles that I face being a female in the industry, and I didn't want girls coming after me to have to go through the same thing. So if I could help guide them along the way, then that's what I was trying to do.
Oh, that's fantastic. So what would you say are probably the top 3 things that your organization does to help these ladies move along the way to the STEM area?
Well, one of the main things that my organization does is early exposure, and this is through hands-on activities, such as in my field in science, we do hands-on scientific activities. We have people come in who can help facilitate technology activities, things like that, pairing them up with other mentors, because while science is my forte, I'm not a technologist or an engineer or a mathematician, so, I can link them up with people in those fields so that they can get mentorship, direct mentorship. I go into schools and Girl Scout troops and speak to girls that way. So early exposure is key.
Okay.
Number 2 is getting them in touch with scholarship opportunities. There are scholarship opportunities not just for college, but also for summer camps. I know a lot of parents, especially this time of year, we're coming up on summer.
We are.
My organization helps them identify summer camps, which it also links back to early exposure, because that is key. So let them know that, yes, it is male-dominated, but the only way we're going to change that is if you get in there, don't be afraid, stop saying, I can't do it, I'm bad at math, I'm bad at computers, I don't understand it. Get in there, get into the trenches, get your hands in there, learn these things, especially from people who are already in the field. So that's key. And lastly, just encouragement. Letting them see someone who looks like them, especially in minority communities. A lot of times, unless they see someone who's actually doing the job who looks like them, then they don't know that they can actually do it too.
Right.
And so that is what my organization does as well, is encourage them, let them see someone who looks like them, who's doing it, who can tell them, okay, if I can do it, you can do it.
Right.
I know it may be hard, but it's possible.
Right.
The sky is the limit.
Right. Yeah. Nothing easy in life is really worth it, to be honest. I mean, I know it's such a phrase that people say, but it's true. It's really like if you think about our lives and like things that we've gone through to accomplish what we've accomplished, that we've really appreciated it and said, wow, we really did that. It was never the easy stuff. It was always the stuff that stretched us and made us grow.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So.
I've had people, supervisors, one in particular, when I worked at the CDC, he told me to my face that I would never, ever make it as a scientist. That I was a great person to work with, a team player. I was eager to learn. I was very nice, but I would never make it. She said, maybe you should try something in administration.
Oh, wow.
And almost 10 years later, I'm working in the field.
Wow.
And one of the last things I said to her is that, that's your opinion, and you're entitled to your opinion, but you will see me again. And not even a year later, she did see me again at the CDC in a different department. And you would have thought she saw a ghost.
Oh, wow.
But that's what I'm trying to encourage my girls, that it doesn't matter what someone else says that you can or cannot do. If this is your passion, if this is something you think you can do, then pursue it and go all in.
Right.
Because you are the only competition. No one else. You're not competing with someone else. I don't go into positions that I've held thinking, okay, I have to get ahead of the next female. I go in there saying I'm going to build upon what I already know and get even better at it.
That's a great way to look at it. Yeah. And not only that, but when you look at it like that, you have an opportunity, instead of like pulling down people around you, you uplift them, and edify others as well.
Exactly.
Exactly. So that's awesome. Great job. So, and your organization is a nonprofit or is it for profit?
It is a nonprofit.
Nonprofit. Okay. And so if there was anything that our listening audience could do, if they're passionate about this, and if there's anything that they could do to help your organization move along the way in any capacity, whether it be anything, not necessarily just money, but it could be anything. So what would you say would be the top 3 things that you guys could use that would help you guys move along?
Well, one of the top things that I could use in this organization is supplies. In order for me to facilitate those hands-on activities, I need supplies. And that is something that is not easily to come by. You have organizations out there who have access to things that, we could use in order to, for example, do technology experiments, help girls learn how to code or do science experiments. And supplies is needed for that. I would say that volunteers, the more the merrier. The more hands on deck that I can get, it's even better because, like I said, I am a scientist. That is what I know. That's what I do. But if you are someone who is a technologist, an engineer, a mathematician who has a heart for girls and for mentoring, I could use the help with that. Because, I don't want this organization to just be limited to one city. I'm trying to go everywhere, just empower girls all over the world. So I need volunteers.
Right.
The other thing I need is a venue to hold some of these activities, these workshops, because I can't always hold everything in a library. Some libraries would allow you to specifically science experiment.
I know we do a lot of workshops in the library, so
bubbles over, explodes. They might not want that in the library.
Right.
So a venue is always great, whether it's a hall, someplace. If you are a college professor, we could use your lab, for example, or use your computers. And college students, this will look great on your resume. If you could come in and volunteer and talk to your school about letting us host there.
Yeah, that would be awesome. Not only that, but it would give great PR press back to the colleges as well. So
right.
So if the press
releases,
you never know,
maybe that's your future student right there.
Exactly. That's true. So now since you're obviously not in the studio today, you're calling in over the phone. Have you? Where are you located at?
Well, I just moved from Atlanta to Houston, Texas last summer.
Okay.
So that's why I'm calling it over the phone. But yeah, I am located in Houston now. But I travel back to Atlanta often. So I would love to host a workshop there or come in, to someone's school, Girl Scout troop and speak to them. Help the Girl Scouts earn a STEM badge because Girl Scouts have really been behind STEM, and I love that. I used to be a Girl Scout, so I was really excited to know that they support STEM. So, I'd love to come in and help Girl Scouts earn their badge, things like that.
Okay.
Someone in another city, I would love to go there as well. But
That's awesome. So, I know. So, do you have a lot of volunteers and where you have it not just in Houston, Texas, but organizations or people here in Georgia as well, or really what I'm trying to say is after I'm asking one question in like 6 different ways. Let me just say it clearly. Is do you have where do you have people in addition to Houston, Texas that could be a part of your organization or that are currently a part of your organization?
Virginia, Florida, Texas, Atlanta, Maryland, DC area. And like I said, I'm always looking to expand because STEM is important. And it's a lot bigger than one city. So I'm always willing to collaborate with someone because there are a lot of different organizations out here. We have the same goal, and it's just about empowering girls. And once again, it's not about competition. It's getting the word out, getting the exposure in the hands of these girls. So let's come together. I have no problem doing that because I am about STEM. I love science. I always have. I've wanted to do this since I was 8 years old.
Well, that's awesome.
So if there are people, in other cities, then, let's get together and make this happen.
So not only have you had an opportunity to give back, to really go after what you're passionate about, but also now you've created an organization around that passion to help other young ladies be able to accomplish or at least move towards things that you've been able to accomplish and hopefully make it a little bit easier for them to get there and not be as discouraged, right?
Right, and like I said earlier, this came about, from me volunteering with another nonprofit organization, B2F Girls. The founder, Jacqueline H, and I have been friends for a very long time. We've been friends since high school, and I started volunteering with her organization, and then one day she came to me and said, you need to go after girls in STEM. That's your passion, that is your field, and like I said, this came about from volunteering with her organization. And while we had the same goal of empowering girls, hers was not STEM-based. And so it just made sense. I said, I've been doing this, working with you for this long, and I'd still love to do that, but yes, you're right. I need to get the word out about STEM, and I need to be a cheerleader behind these girls and let them know that they can do it.
Right.
And together, we've collaborated on some things. Her organization as well has a lot of great things going on this year that I encourage people to support.
And what's the name of that one?
It's all about female empowerment.
Okay. What's the name of that organization?
Her organization is called B2F Girls, and B2F Girls host an annual tea party. And it's not just a typical tea party, but it's empowerment. We have speakers come in, a panel, girls get to, wear their little fancy gloves, hats, get dressed up. It's an event for girls, mothers, grandmothers, aunts, women who mentor themselves, and that event is actually happening April 23rd this year.
Oh, wow. Where is it located? Oh, wow. I wish I would have known about it before.
That's going to be held April 23rd in Sandy Springs. And
that's right in my backyard.
Tickets are still available for that, and I encourage people to attend that event. And this year, Femmes for STEM is helping to host the Tween Star Awards. And the Tween Star Awards is a platform where we honor and celebrate girls who are doing awesome things in the community. We've added community organizations and educators because teachers are important. And I encourage people to go on b2fgirls.org and look at the event, the Tea Party event, get that information, but also visit tweenstarAwards.com and find out how to nominate and all the requirements for that. And that event is going to be held in Hampton, Virginia. It started in Atlanta, but now we're going on the road and empowering girls in other cities.
That's
empowering
awesome.
mentors in other cities, women.
That's awesome.
So I encourage people to also support that.
What's the age group for Tween Stars?
Tween Star Awards for girls ages 10 to 17.
Okay. So my goddaughter will be eligible for that in 3 years.
Hampton, Virginia, this year, October 22nd at 11:30.
Nice.
Yeah, it's a great time. It's a red carpet event. We have, keynote speakers come in, entertainment. Like I said, it's a time for girls to get fancy, put on their pretty dresses and just feel beautiful on the outside and as well as on the inside, and let them know that, we see you.
Right.
We appreciate what you're doing in the community.
Right. That's awesome. So if someone wanted to get some more information about your organization, where would they be able to find it and donate time, money, volunteer, whichever?
STEMforstem.org. And that's F as in Frank, E as in Edward, M as in Mary, S as in Sam, T as in Tom, E as in Edward, M as in Mary, .org. STEMS, the number 4, STEMS.org.
Okay. And now is STEMS plural or singular?
Singular.
Okay. When it was saying it would sound like stems, so I just wanted to be sure. Okay. You spelled it singular. Yeah. Okay. All right. And so as you've been going through this transition for the last, you said year and a half, tell us and tell the audience, like when it comes to building a nonprofit and really getting it organized and so forth, tell us top 3 things that you've really learned going through this process.
Oh, wow. I have learned that, first of all, people want to know what makes you qualified.
Right.
Why should we support you? Who are you? What makes you qualified to talk about STEM? And as I mentioned earlier, I'm in the field. I work in the field. I am a biologist. And I have gone through trials and tribulations in the field, so I know what girls are going to have to overcome. Because even though we've made progress, there's still a lot of work to be done. So people want to know your credentials, and I understand that. So that's number 1. Number 2, I know that relationship is important. Building relationships with other people, not just in your field, but also in other fields. And that's why I love what you're doing with Connecting Atlanta, because you're bringing people together. For example, I may be in the STEM field, but I may want to host an event to promote so I can get in touch with or be connected with someone who plans events.
Right.
I can get in touch with someone who, for example, owns a software company. So it's all about relationships and building relationships. Definitely not burning bridges.
Right.
But us encouraging one another. And, sometimes it's about helping one another out. Okay, this is your business. I'll promote you. You help me out.
Right.
Things like that. Building each other up. I think that's important relationship.
That's awesome.
Learning that people need to know your credentials and want to know. Number 2, building relationships. Number 3, I've learned that branding is important.
Yes.
Because people won't take you seriously if the way you dress and carry yourself is a mess, if your website looks a mess. It's all about, what they see.
Right.
Because before they even see you, they see what you're putting out there. And you can't have it both ways. For example, on your social media, downing someone else, degrading someone else, but then talking about empowerment.
Right.
You can't,
right.
Promote one thing, but then display something else. So those are the 3 things I've learned.
Right.
That it's very important.
That's awesome. I would completely agree with all of that. And you have to be so careful with.
Oh yes.
It's crazy. It's really crazy because there's been just in the city and different places that I've been and people recognize me just from different social media sites or whatever that I've been on, and every time that happens, it just is like a reminder. Okay, Jacqueline, you need to be mindful about who you hang out with. Where you go, just different things, because you just never know who's going to be there. You know what I'm saying?
Right, and especially, in this age of social media, it's easy to send mixed messages.
Yes.
It's just a matter of being mindful, of what you're putting out there. And I've learned so much from my mentor, and I'm still learning every day. This is a continuous learning process.
That's exciting. Well, so is your nonprofit, is it registered here or in Atlanta or in Texas? Georgia or Texas?
Well, it started in Atlanta, but now, I have it registered in Texas because I am here local, and I wanted people to know that
Right.
I can be reached here in Texas. But yeah, it started in Atlanta.
Okay. Awesome. Well, and so where would you, if anything were possible and nothing could hold you back, where would you like to see your organization in the next, say, 2 years? 2 to 3 years.
Oh, wow. I would love it so much if I had so many volunteers to help out, so many people from corporate companies backing me that I would have to make a schedule and say, okay, well, this particular week we're going to just focus on science, and this week we're going to focus on technology. I would love for it to be at that level. I would love to be at the point where I have touched the lives of so many girls in so many different cities, and I have girls who no longer say, I can't do science, I can't do math, that's for boys, I'm going to go in some other field. I would love to get to the point where I travel so much and talk to so many different girls that I've inspired them, and that when they see me and talk to me, they know that it's possible.
Right.
That is where I would love to be. I'd love to be able to offer scholarships to girls through donations that I get. That is one thing I would love to do, because for a lot of girls, especially in underserved communities, financial aid is a problem. They either don't know how to access it, or they don't have enough funds to go to college. So if I could have STEM for STEM be the person, or the organization that gives a girl a scholarship every year, and as I grow more than one every year, I would love that. That is really what, where I'm headed and where my focus is headed, and something I would love to do. But as a nonprofit, like I said, it takes funds to do that.
Yeah. You probably
So
just
I'm actually
need
working towards trying to be 501c3. That's my goal right now.
Okay. Yeah, you should be able to connect with some people in Houston that make it easy for people to help them get set up and make sure everything's set up properly, so you can have the 501c3 status. But if anything, like after you get all that done, you could connect with and try to find someone that is like a professional grant writer that would love to be on your team. And then just help write grants for you, and then also help get the scholarships and guide the kids through applying for the scholarships as well. And there's some apps out there. There was an app of this young man who created an app because he went out and applied for all these scholarships and got like $1 million in scholarships to go to school. It was all these just crazy scholarships you would never even know existed. And he created an app, and if you do Shark Tank scholarships, it should come up. But he created an app that you can just put your information in, and it should tell you about the different scholarships that are out there for the kids. So you could even look at that and see the different types of, STEM scholarships that are out there for these kids and help them apply for that. So
That's wonderful.
Yep. So it's just really I think the biggest thing is crazy with the informational age that we have, that how it's still so many people have lack of information and knowledge, because a lot of times they just don't know what questions to ask. So.
Right. And, another problem that I see, especially in this day and age, is the media. And oftentimes, especially when it comes to science, the media does not often portray women in those fields in STEM, and if they do, then that particular character in the movie or the TV show has to be the
hottest music, R&B, hip hop, pop,
I still get you.
reggae, EDM, indie, old school,
Side, check it.
and sports talk.
Right here.
StarHitRadio.com.